we have the Xiaomi Mi 10 Non-Pro. We have the Poco F2 Pro. We're gonna start our camera comparison here. Now, to be fair, this is going to be with both of these stock cameras, not gcam. If you guys want me to do a gcam comparison, let me know in the comment section down below. Really pretty sunset happening right now. We're out on a lake. We're gonna try shooting with the ultra wide and the main cameras of both of these with HDR on. So quite a few of you have asked me about my custom motorcycle in the comments whenever I have it in here. And today I'm at the birthplace of it to do some low light photography with the K30 Pro, Poco F2 Pro, and the new Xiaomi Mi 10 that I just got. This is one of the kind of premier motorcycle fabrication kind of garages here in Hanoi, where most of the bikes here are around the 250 to 400 cc class just because of taxes. And if you want custom metal fabrication work done, or you want the bike completely transformed, you would bring it here, maybe one or two other shops, but really this is the place where people get custom fabrication work done to their bikes. Let's take some pictures. Damn, are you guys enjoying this video and you want to support me? Best way to do that is hit the subscribe button. If you guys want to interact with me, Twitter is an excellent place to do so. Also, check out my Telegram channel in the description down below. And if you guys want to put some money into my pocket, just use my affiliate links. Okay, back to the video. So to answer your question right off the bat, yes, the Xiaomi Mi 10 does take better pictures than the Poco F2 Pro, Redmi K30 Pro. Right now, I just want to kind of touch on a surface level stuff for the non-nerds, and we'll get into the more nerdy stuff in the second part of this video. So after doing my comprehensive testing in low light, using a tripod, handheld, and etc., it looks like the Xiaomi Mi 10 has an advantage in two areas which are kind of be expected. The first is the length of exposure, being able to just capture a longer exposure with less motion blur. To be honest though, I didn't find the hand holdability of the Mi 10 to be that much bigger of an advantage over the Redmi K30 Pro, Poco F2 Pro. It is an advantage as I can hold it for slightly longer, but it's not a night and day difference. The sensors on them, the IMX686 seems to be a half stop to a stop of light worse than the Mi 10. What that means in layman's terms is that the Mi 10 is able to take pictures in lower light, or better pictures in lower light. Combine that with the fact that you're able to have a longer shutter speed, and I would say that this is a tangible upgrade over the Poco F2 Pro. It is a bigger upgrade over the Poco F2 Pro than the Poco F2 Pro was from the Redmi K20 Pro. Now, if you have a Redmi K20 Pro, this would be a substantial difference over the Redmi K20 Pro. So if you have a K20 Pro, you're not happy with the camera, I would suggest either getting the Mi 10, Mi 10 Pro, or if you're on a budget, get the Mi Note 10 because it has better cameras than the Xiaomi Mi 10 does. One of the reasons that I got the Xiaomi Mi 10 was for the ability to take videos in darker situations, which is why I'm using it right now to take this video. We're gonna go ahead, set up this on a tripod, do some long exposures, and really get down to the nitty-gritty of if I'm using the same exposure length. So if each of these images is for half a second on a tripod, it's not gonna take anything into consideration about optical image stabilization, which sensor is getting us the best results in the low light, which sensor is able to capture the most light, which sensor is able to give us the best image quality, independent of any of that other stuff. Let's go. So what I just did was I set up both the cameras, Pro mode. First we went ISO 50 at 1 second, ISO 800 at 1/10 of a second, then 1600 ISO at 1/20th of a second. And so far, it looks like the Xiaomi Mi 10 is getting about a half stop to a stop extra of light more, just because it's a bigger sensor and it's able to gather more light. Obviously, not everyone is going to be as nerdy as me. So next, we're going to go ahead and jump into the night modes of both of these cameras just to see which one gets us more pleasing results. Okay, now nerd alert. Being a photographer for 15 years, I have a little bit to say about the technical performance of these devices. Both of the devices performed better when using their dedicated night mode than when I took a base level exposure at 50 ISO, meaning that the camera is able to capture more dynamic range through processing of its RAW files and compressing them along with JPEGs than you're able to get at the base ISO. So the HDR on the stock camera app does give you an increase in performance than shooting at the base ISO in Pro mode. Maybe shooting in RAW would have made a slight difference, but at a 1 second exposure, I can't expect there to be much of a difference. The area that I saw the biggest difference between the two cameras was the sharpness at the higher ISOs at 1600 ISO and 800 ISO. The images coming out at 800 ISO of the Mi 10 were sharper than they were of the K30 Pro Poco F2 Pro. Then again, both devices at the same ISO recording video, and this isn't a video comparison, the video on the Xiaomi Mi 10 was significantly brighter, leading me to believe that either the lens has a faster f-stop, which I'll put that up on the screen right now if it does, or the lens has just a better t-value. The t-value is a really nerdy term. It means the amount of light that's making it through the lens, whereas the f-stop is the size of the aperture of the lens. So one of them is a mathematical formula, the other one is an actual test of the light moving through that and how much light is being lost. So just from an overall hardware perspective, you are getting better glass and a more sensitive sensor on the Xiaomi Mi 10, which for still photography, especially using the stock camera app, can be appreciated if you consider the fact that it's stacking those images. So having OIS is allowing you to take better and more images at a one shot. Along with that, the more dynamic range means that if you are only able to capture 4 or 5 images, let's say using gcam, you're gonna have a broader spectrum of dynamic range being covered. And I am gonna be doing a gcam video, so subscribe for that. But for the non-nerdy people, the Mi 10 does take better photos than the Redmi K30 Pro. For the super nerdy people, the lens and the overall package on the Mi 10 has a better signal to noise ratio and is able to get you better results. And then when we combine that with gcam, it seems like we're going to get a bigger jump in performance using gcam, whereas on the K30 Pro, it's kind of a marginal increase in performance.
Tim, partner, you might be sad that this video is over, but don't worry. Go ahead and check out this video right here. It might be a camera comparison, or check out this video right here where I talk about headphones. Either way, I'll wait for you.